Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Greetings, Galactic Earth Angelics of the 144. Happy full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and holy celebration of the Buddhist Vesak, the enlightenment and nirvana of Shakyamuni Buddha. On this most beautiful, blessed, sacred, and auspicious day, we have a very special transmission for you today. I am Paul, White Gold Eagle from PrimeDisclosure.com, and we begin today from Divine Sister of the Light Christina Papagiorgio. Vesak Buddha, full blood moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. The phoenix rises from the ashes and transforms into the holy white dove. May 15 through 16, 2022, 16th of May at 1:32 a.m. UTC. Overall duration 5 hours 19 minutes period between the beginning and end of all eclipse phases. Duration of totality 1 hour 25 minutes period between the beginning and end of the total phase. Deep into the scorpionic underworld we go with this eclipse. Under this full blood moon, the universe will find a way of revealing the spies, secrets, and mysteries within your life. If you've been concerned about untrustworthy friends or potential enemies, let go of your fear and let those around you be revealed. Avoid jumping to any conclusions or assuming the worst. For now, take note and pay attention. This full moon is trine Jupiter and Mars, meaning the information being revealed during this time is meant to enlighten, not enrage. This aligns well with the rise to Buddhic consciousness and this Vesak, golden Buddha full moon. The full moon is also trine Neptune, so be careful. Not all is as it seems. Be aware of illusions and fantasies, and focus on higher love and spiritual truth. Patience will not stir you wrong. Even when evil surrounds you, we should always remember that hope lives within the pithos, even if we are unable to see it. This magical total lunar eclipse occurs on May 16, 2022, at 25 degrees and 18 minutes of Scorpio, opposing the Sun at 25 degrees and 18 minutes of Taurus, significantly affecting people born with personal planets and points at approximately 20 to 30 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, most significantly. Scorpio themes: passion, exploration, security, unveiling, magnetism, involvement, embracing death, rebirth, and truth. I am transformed into greater awareness. We are about to journey through the spiritual fires of transmutation, transformation, and transfiguration. Scorpio is passion. Its deep emotions are often deliberately intensified, and gut instincts and psychic sensitivity are very strong, always penetrative, and sometimes invasive. It feels like a compelling fascination with the seamier side of life where destruction and creativity meet together. This allows for a sense of alchemical power, a transmutative force between attraction and repulsion, and a mysterious insight into human psychology. It can be unashamedly sexual, yet its renowned personal magnetism is independent of physical beauty. Moon in Scorpio responds unconsciously and shows our need for nurturing relationships and environments. With Moon in Scorpio, you will probably access the Sabian symbol, mystery best through deep reflection, becoming increasingly faithful to your reliable psychic senses and powerful intuition. An unrelenting need for emotional security and stillness empowers this moon to bring passionate feelings under tight control for self and special others. Yet the examination of this ability to control must constantly be reenacted to bring reassurance. There is often a provocative attitude that seeks to goad and bring out the dark side of people. For others, this can be either emotionally threatening or else perceived as irresistibly exciting, seductive charisma. Sabian symbols for this eclipse, 26 degrees, Scorpio moon. Sabian symbol, extemporatization, Indians making camp. This universal idea is best expressed through planets in 26 degree of Scorpio, 25 to 26 degree. When we have learned how to seek, then we have discovered how to find. Acknowledgement of hardship should not imply an unambitious acceptance of things as they are, but rather stimulate us to develop stronger determination and greater abilities. Throughout the ages, hunter-gatherers have commonly relocated, and when making a new camp, expected to be able to collect whatever they required locally. Similarly, when we are in the dynamic flow of life, we find that everything we actually need for our survival, our comfort, and all other purposes can be found close at hand. Not everyone notices and makes a claim, yet in every moment there is a wide range and a superabundance of resources and opportunities for new and worthwhile experiences. No map or musical score exists to help us choose or reject these various options. We must extemporize in response to outer situations and inner feelings. If we think outside the box, then even in a seemingly unsupportive environment, we can find what we want. Perceived reality is nothing more than the accumulated result of our own innumerable affirmations and rejections in everyday dealings with the world. The wherewithal exists for us to do whatever we choose and to be whomever we decide to become, as long as we have complete faith to do what feels right according to our personal values and preferences. Yet we do have to engage fully with our current reality in order to claim its benefits. Devotion is a force of manifestation, and in some mysterious way we create an appropriate set of life circumstances by investing ourselves wholeheartedly in the required outcome. This teaching articulates an inexhaustible capacity for repeated self-establishment as our lives and situations move on through the changes. However, we must work with whatever arises to make it suit our purposes, and utilize whatever there is available with the clear intention to act assertively and bend things to our will. Each of us has the gift of resourcefulness and the freedom to employ the art. In order to achieve true self-fulfillment, we need to be fully alert to seek and find the possibilities inherent within what there is around us and within us. Such alertness can be practiced and improved. When we have learned how to seek, then we have discovered how to find. A very useful attitude of mind which supports this insight is the enjoyment of challenge. When we trust in our skillful resourcefulness, then we delight in testing it and showing it. Every new situation is another opportunity to demonstrate that we can cope creatively with whatever comes up, and this facility is an essential ingredient that characterizes the human species. Sun in Taurus. Power, application, authenticity, common sense, authority, depth. I feel the power of nature in every cell of my being, yet I prefer simply to surrender into the serenity of silence. Seeing a bull in a field, we intuitively understand this sign on the psychological level. It reeks of power. Except for Scorpio, its need for security is the greatest in the whole circle, and to be secure, Taurus feels it needs to be powerful. Without tangible involvement, we cannot express our fullest empowered potential, and life would lack depth of meaning. Yet no sign is more devoted to freedom than this one. The paradox is that we have come to terms with the dichotomy between involvement and freedom. Seemingly they cannot coexist, and yet as the twin aspects of authenticity, both principles are deeply and meaningfully prized. 26 degrees, Taurus Sun. Following on from our mastery of material management, it is good to seek the inner peace that enables us to listen to the soul's quiet voice. Outer realities are given minimal attention as our focus turns within to attend more sincerely to inner knowledge. There is a shift in perspective where time appears slower, age is appreciated more than youth, and experience more than prospect. Gentle cooperative involvement both with natural forces and other people is the natural fruit of such a sense of inner stillness. The eternal promise of life is revealed. Why compete? Why even strain over much? Things need to be carefully weighed up, Perhaps the status quo has its own value, so why move to change anything at all? Knowing already that we can move mountains, the test is to learn how to feel whether they actually need moving. Let superficial shows of aspirations have their place then. All is illusion, all is hoax, and despite all the comings and goings, successes and failures, nothing fundamentally ever really changes, perhaps on the deepest level. All is unfolding just as it should. Sabian symbol, constancy, a Spaniard, serenading his señorita. This universal idea is best expressed through planets in 26 degree of Taurus, 25 to 26 degree. As we speak, so we are. The skilled individual may have kissed the Blarney Stone and be able to add wit and humor to flattery in order to control others with the smooth talk of a silver tongue. Yet the wiser individual will see the futility in this misuse of glamour. The reality we encounter is built by what we think, say, and do, and every little contribution matters. A casual remark here, a white lie there, what does it matter? Well, it does matter. Each nuance of what we allow out has its subtle effect. It materializes. Those of us given to poetry and music are asked to honor these powerful devices as they create their effects. Through constancy, we can become the embodiment of the ideals that romance points towards. If the soul exults in the beauty of love's language, then we must be true to that feeling, or we will betray it, as do prostitutes and gigolos. As we speak, so we are. What comes out of our mouths is a measure of what comes out of our hearts. If our hearts are to be true, then what we say must be true. Also, we need to remember that the vision we are projecting into the world's future is not only that which pleases our own desire, it is greater than that, because others also participate in its creation. If our soul is to be undeniably present within our created vision, then so must other souls. This requires a kind of courtship. Soul needs to be reassured, coaxed, serenaded, and won. To achieve this insincerely is a betrayal at the level of the soul, and it is difficult to think of a more poignant crime. With constancy, we learn that everything is at hand, that all we desire is already ours, and that no sense of the need for compromise is truly valid. Source Sabian Mysteries, a spiritual approach to astrology. Commentary on the work of Dr. Mark Edmund Jones by James Burgess. Divine blessings for our collective grand rising through the alchemical fires of transmutation, transformation, and transfiguration. In la Ketch a la Keen, Christina White Magnetic World Bridger, Keen 66. And from Ananda Shri, Vedic Astrology. Blood Moon Lunar Eclipse, Buddha, Purnima, May 15th, 6:32 through 11:50 p.m. Pacific Time. A total lunar eclipse will darken the moon over the U.S. and Europe, triggered by the shadow snake of liberation, Ketu. This game-changing lunar eclipse can catapult you into higher awareness. This lunar eclipse has a transformational fire within it. It falls in Vishaka, the Vedic star of purpose, clarity, and one-pointed focus, and is also the Buddha, Purnima, birthday of Gautama Buddha. Lord Buddha taught liberation from suffering through steady focus, observation, and meditation. It's said that the power of meditation is enhanced during this eclipse, so take this time to sit and follow your breath for at least 10 minutes. Be present with what is and simply observe the emotions that may arise in your body. If you're feeling held down or trapped in old patterns, use this time to cut cords and focus on the power of the present. From AnandaAstrology.com, and from Divine Sister of the Light Sangita Handa. Lord Buddha's Vesak, full moon eclipsed. This holy full moon and Lord Buddha's touchdown on earth for sheer 8 minutes. This is spiritually the most important supreme moment in the annual earth cycle, a celebration of his birth, enlightenment, and ascension. Vesak falls annually on the Scorpio full moon in the month of May, with Sun in Taurus. It is at the exact moment of the Scorpio-Taurus full moon that Lord Buddha is said to return momentarily to earth, appearing physically to those gathered in the secluded Vesak Valley in the base of Mount Kailash in the Himalayas. However, his blessings are bestowed upon all who sit in meditation and prayer at the anointed time to receive him. Moreover, he brings with him the most powerful spiritual energy of Shambhala to the assembled masters, initiates, and disciples of the light hierarchy for the assimilation and distribution of Shambhala force throughout the world. The sun's transit through Taurus exalts the moon, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, the spiritual ruler of earth. Venus is identified with the regent lord, superior to Lord Buddha in hierarchy, Sanat Kumara, and Goddess Venus and the 144,000 light holders and light keepers on earth today, who stayed back after Lord and Lady of Venus moved into their new abode known as Shambhala on the arrival of the Prince of Darkness, as explained in the book The Voice of Silence by Lord Sanat Kumara and Lord Buddha. Furthermore, before the grand arrival of the god of planet Earth, Lord Buddha, the master planetary hierarchy of Gaia assemble and arrange themselves in a geometrical pattern of a pentagram, with Jesus overlighted at the top, followed by Saint Germain and Lord Manu at the two bottom ends of the triangle, and Lord Sanat Kumara with Mother Kuan Yin at the two higher peaks. Lord Buddha acts as the spiritual intermediary between the highest spiritual center, Shambhala, and the planetary hierarchy. The Vesak sacred ceremony takes place between the Buddha, the Christ, and the united spiritual hierarchy as a blessing poured forth upon our planet. Spiritual leaders gather in the Vesak Valley, a mythic place lying at a rather high altitude in the foothills of the Himalayan Tibetan ranges. It is surrounded by high mountains on all sides except towards the northeast, where there is a narrow opening in the mountain ranges. The valley is bottle-shaped in contour with a neck to the northeast. So as the legend goes, a group of high-vibrational, non-physical beings who are the custodians of God's plan for Earth gather at the valley. These divine beings are the main participants of the Vesak festival. They arrange themselves in the northeastern end of the valley in concentric circles and prepare for a great act of service. In front of the rock, looking towards the northeast, stand those beings who are called by their disciples, the five great lords, Jesus Christ, who stands in the center, the Lord of living forms. Lord Manu stands at the right, and Lord of civilization, Saint Germain, stands to his left. These three face the rock upon which rests a giant, great crystal bowl full of water. Behind the grouped masters, their adepts, initiates, and senior workers are to be found, who at this time constitute the new group of world servers. Those present in their physical bodies find their way there by ordinary means. Others are present in their spiritual bodies and in the dream state. As the hour of the full moon approaches, a stillness settles down upon the crowd, and all look towards the northeast. Certain ritualistic movements take place in which the grouped masters and their disciples of all ranks take up symbolic positions and form on the floor of the valley certain significant symbology. This is all done to the sound of certain Sanskrit chanted words and esoteric phrases called mantras, and the chanting gathers momentum in anticipated arrival of the Lord. The expectancy and the waiting of the onlooking crowd becomes very great, and the tension is real, palpitating and increasing. Throughout the entire body of people assembled there, a lake of enveloping, potent vibration is felt vividly, which has the effect of awakening the souls of all present, fusing and blending the group into one united whole, and lifting all into a great act of spiritual demand, readiness, and expectancy. The climax of the world's aspiration is focused within the waiting group. The three words, demand, readiness, and expectancy, best describe the atmosphere surrounding those present in the secret valley. The chanting and the rhythmic weaving grows stronger, and all the participants in the watching crowd raise their eyes towards the sky in the direction of the narrow part of the valley. Just a few minutes before the exact time of the full moon, in the far distance, a tiny speck can be seen in the sky. It comes nearer and nearer, and grows in clarity and definiteness of outline until the form of the Buddha can be seen, seated in the cross-legged position, clad in his saffron-colored robe, bathed in an aura and halo of immense blinding light and color, and with his hand extended in blessing. When the Buddha arrives at a certain point exactly over the great rock, hovering there in the air over the heads of the 5 lords, a great mantram, used only once a year at the festival, is intoned by the Christ, and the entire group of people in the valley fall upon their faces. This invocation sets up a great vibration or thought current of such potency that it reaches up from the group of aspirants, disciples, and initiates who employ it, to the being we know as God. This marks the supreme moment of intensive spiritual Shambhala energy that lasts throughout the entire year. The blessing is thus poured forth, and the Christ, as the representative of humanity, receives it in trust for distribution. Slowly then the Buddha recedes into the distance, until again only a faint speck can be seen in the sky, and this eventually disappears. The whole ceremonial blessing from the time of the first appearance in the distance until the moment Buddha fades out takes just 8 minutes. Once Lord Buddha has totally disappeared, the crowd rise to their feet. The water in the bowl is distributed in tiny portions to the masters, initiates, and disciples, and they then go their way to their place of service. The crowd, who have been brought their little cups and vessels of water, drink of them and share with others. In this beautiful water ceremony of communion is portrayed the symbol of the new age which is already upon us, the Aquarian age, the age of the water carrier. The water, which has been magnetized by the presence of the Buddha and of the Christ, along with the other masters, carries certain properties and virtues of a healing and helpful nature. Lord Buddha's annual sacrifice for humanity, for he comes back only at great cost, is over, and he returns again to that high place where he works and waits, in the great white lodge of Sirius. Buddha was Siddhartha Gautama by birth, and the Buddha is a title he earned and attained through his evolution. The name Buddha signifies the enlightened one, or the awakened one. He lived in present-day India and Nepal between the 6th and 4th century BC, and passed over in 483 BC. At that time there was no Nepal, but all was Hindustan, India. I now take you on a journey back 2,499 years. Sit back and enjoy his life story through paintings as pictures depict 1,000 words. A reluctant teacher. He considered that the enlightenment he had reached was not only near impossible for him to express in words, but also would not easily be understood by the masses. Moreover, he felt as well enlightenment must be acquired and experienced, not narrated as a satsang. For the first 44 days after enlightenment he kept refusing to teach, but he was told that his purpose would be defeated did he not reveal his spiritual attainment. Eventually, after much deliberation from the light and hierarchy, he agreed to share, not teach, the righteous path that humanity could tread in order to evolve higher, and outline the basics through the 4 noble truths. Further, he postulated that a path is needed to be freed from the 4 noble truths, and so he mapped a direction that mankind could adopt. This he did through the doctrine of the Noble Eightfold Path. His message to the people was fundamentally that happiness is in learning that nothing in the world is permanent, and so detachment is vital for acquiring nirvana, or mukti. This final request to mankind was to work hard to gain salvation, freedom, mukti, through self-mastery, and that ignorance doesn't beget enlightenment. He did not teach enlightenment, nor did he share how he became enlightened, as to him enlightenment is unteachable and individualized, and that each human must find his own individualized path to ultimate wisdom. After his death, it was his followers who created a new religion known as Buddhism. Day of safeguarding plus days of distribution. Now for 2 days prior to the full moon, we prepare ourselves by holding an attitude of dedication and service and upward spiritual striving. We seek to become receptive to that which our soul will impart, that which will make us of use to the spiritual hierarchy. The day of the Vesak Purnima full moon is known as the day of safeguarding. We simply regard ourselves as recipients or custodians of as much of the spiritual Shambhala force as we can possibly hold. We attempt to hold ourselves steadily in the light. We will not formulate what will happen, nor will we look for results or tangible effects. We will maintain an inner peace. The 2 days following the Vesak full moon are called the days of distribution. On these 2 succeeding days, the focus of our attention will steadily be turned away from ourselves and from the inner subjective planes to the outer world. Our efforts will be to pass on or to pass through that measure of spiritual Shambhala energy that may have been contacted. This full moon is also an eclipsed one. At the time of Lord Buddha's visitation, the moon shall darken totally, becoming a blood moon. Do sit in prayers before the portal opening so that you can go into meditation some minutes before the entry of Lord Buddha. Light a candle for him, some incense. Keep a bowl of water before you that you can drink once the 8 minutes are over. Time of Lord Buddha's visitation. Penumbral eclipse begins 16th of May, 1:32 UTC or 7:02 IST. Partial eclipse begins May 16th, 2:27. Full eclipse begins 16th of May, 3:29 UTC. Maximum eclipse 16th of May, 4:11 UTC. Full eclipse ends 16th of May, 4:53 UTC. Partial eclipse ends 16th of May, 5:55 UTC. Penumbral eclipse ends 16th of May, 6:50 UTC. The eclipse corridor closes after the full moon total lunar eclipse. From SangitaAnanda.net. Thank you for joining us today, beloved beings of light. Have a most beautiful and blessed Vesak full super blood moon and total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Namaste. If you'd like to support our work and mission, you can make a pledge or donation to our page at egolovecondor.com. Now we're going to complete this transmission. We'll play for you gentle meditative music. So for all of you that joined us for this beautiful transmission, you can continue communicating or practice meditation together. The eagle and the condor love you all. Namaste. Om Hung Vajra Guru Padme Siddhi Hung Gate Gate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha.